So regarding manga versus anime, this is a debate I've heard way too many times about whether an anime is better for X reasons or a manga is better for Y reasons. And me personally, I do not see the appeal of this. There's no real reason to pit them against each other. Both are covering the exact same medium, so I do not see the point exactly in it. I agree that a series can have either the manga or anime version be the superior one, like one plays out the story better than the other. For example, the Berserk anime versus the manga. Obviously, the 2016 Berserk anime is a pretty poor representation of the series. Actually, now that I think about it, while I do agree that the anime is pretty bad, for some reason that I cannot explain, I didn't really mind the animation when I was watching it. I have no idea why, but I was never bothered by it. I mean, I noticed it because it was CGI, and very low-end CGI, but somehow it never crossed my mind how bad it actually was. Well, now it does looking back at it now. I guess it was me being so invested in it at the time. I was able to gloss over it. That just shows how good Berserk is, to be honest. The story was good enough for me to deal with the bad animation, but later on I did read the manga from the beginning, and the manga is definitely leagues ahead. But this can be the opposite in some other shows. In shows like Demon Slayer, the situation is the opposite. Not to downplay Demon Slayer or anything, but the series gets carried hard by the anime. The animation studio is one of the best in the industry right now. They turned an alright show into a very good one. Like the story in Demon Slayer, if we take away all the fancy animation, is maybe only a little bit above average. But with the animation, it just puts it on another level. Or Kingdom as well, in the same boat as Berserk. The anime has gotten better in the newest season, but the manga is definitely still leagues above it, so it really varies from series to series, and there's no real definitive answer to which is superior. So I wanted to talk about it today, and let's start with some things anime does better and some things that manga does better. Before that though, remember to like and subscribe for future content. So obviously at first glance, I would honestly say anime if I had to pick one or the other, because just looking at it, anime has a lot more going for it. Obviously the animation, they're able to add a lot more subtle things that a manga couldn't. Well, manga could, but it is considerably harder to do, as well as things like the music. A good OST could take an anime a long way. There are some anime with scenes that are really heightened considerably by the soundtrack. It really sets the mood and gets you feeling how the anime wants you to feel. Like the soundtrack that played when Gon did that thing in the Chimera Ant arc. I won't really explain it in case someone that watches it that hasn't watched Hunter x Hunter gets spoiled. Not likely, but still I don't want to take chances. But yeah, the combinations of all of these things can really breathe life into a lot of scenes. Demon Slayer is one a lot of people can relate to, I imagine. The fight that exploded on the internet had very high level integrations of this, with the soundtrack syncing with the animation and stuff. So yeah, in that department, when an anime does this right, it really makes the experience a lot more enjoyable. But mangas aren't slouching either. They don't have animation obviously or music, but there are techniques used in manga to generate the same effect. I do not know if there's a proper term for this in the manga industry, but the way an author is able to guide a reader through the pages, like the way it is formatted, has the reader start and end where the author intended them for the maximum effect of the pages. This is a pretty advanced technique to get down. Not too many authors can use it, but when it is done correctly, it is fucking great. The build up you feel as you go across the pages build up exponentially, and as you feel super tensed up. I can't really convey how it is to a person who has never experienced it, but anyone who has felt this experience before probably just thought back to a really intense scene that they saw in a manga. Off the top of my head, any Berserk fight or Hisoka vs Koro in the manga, as well as Kingdom fights if anyone reads that. Those are the types of fights that have you at the edge of your seat. So yeah, it's not easy to do from what I know, but when authors get at positioning their panels to build tension, it really upgrades the quality a lot. Another thing that is just as, if not more important, is the art. Art is a huge part of manga, and having good art in itself already puts the manga above others. A good artist is like the manga equivalent of a top tier anime studio. The art can bring scenes to a whole new dimension. Things like Berserk, Vagabond, Kingdom, Slam Dunk are all considered to be one of the best, and one of the main reasons for all of them being so good is how good the art is. Like the level of detail put into singular panels is amazing, and it adds a lot of depth to the story. Like you're not just reading a book but actually looking into their world from an outside view. Reading fights in very high quality art is just really good at immersing yourself, and if combined with the panel positioning that I was mentioning earlier, it brings it at least on par with high tier animation studios presentation wise. And I mean like Demon Slayer or Fate levels of quality. I think if I had to pick one or the other, honestly I would say manga, because I feel like the quality of a manga can preserve for much longer. Like I could see people 100 years from now still talking about Berserk and how good the art style is. They also seem a lot harder to come by. I mean, I haven't really read that many mangas honestly. It feels like an endless void of manga to read compared to anime, but from what I can see, it is a lot less common to come by a top tier manga than a top tier anime. I am not saying manga as a whole are better though. As I said in the beginning, the only way to judge that is a specific series anime and manga, and compare what differences that they have. To make it a blanket statement for every existing series is kind of dumb, but yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say regarding this topic. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe for future content. Peace.